I do welcome you to Bible Times. I'm Willard Pless, and we want to talk today about when will Jesus return? When is he going to return to this earth? And you might say, well, now we don't know. The Bible don't tell us. Well, let's talk about this. If you go to Matthew chapter 24, there in the chapter where Jesus gives the parable of the fig tree, that he says when the fig tree's putting forth leaves, is tender and putting forth leaves, you know the summer's nigh, even at the door. And then he said that this generation would not pass till all be fulfilled. Now, what is he talking about? He's talking about the generation of Jews that are back in the land today, that came back. And let's talk about this a little bit. He brought them back in 1948. They were 24 years old. He brought them into the world in 1924. They were born into the world. And then when they were 24 years old, that brought them to 1948, he brought them back into the land. And they came back in the land on May the 14th, 1948. And then you add 70 years to that, then they would bring you to 2018. And then in 2018, you had 7 years, which is the 7-year tribulation. He'll bring you to 2025, to the end of 2025. And if you use the Bible calendar, which runs from April to April, see, when Israel is back for the generation, this generation of Jews that are back now, and they will come to the end of the generation on May the 14th in 2026. See, he brought them into the world in 1924. They were born. And in 1948, they came into the land. They were 24 years old. And then when they celebrated 70 years of being back, that was in 2018. And then the tribulation came, and Jesus talks about that he would return at the end of the tribulation. He talks about that there in the Matthew chapter 24, when he says that, talks about his return, he says, the lightning shineth from the east to the west, so shall be the coming of the Son of Man. And you read on down and you learn that that'll be at the end of the tribulation. And the tribulation will end when we come to March the 19th here in 2026. Tribulation started in 2018. This is when Babylon came back to its power, and when President Trump showed up. He's the new Nebuchadnezzar. I don't know if you can understand these things or not. I don't know. But I hope you'll try to get in here and talk to Jesus about things and let him give you understanding. He's the only one that can. That he can give you understanding to know when that he's going to return. And the Bible does tell us, it doesn't give us the day, the hour, but it gives us the time and the season. That's what Jesus is giving. And Jesus don't want anyone to be walking in darkness when he comes. He wants everyone to understand and be walking with him, fellowshipping with him. But if you don't have Jesus in your heart and fellowshipping with him, you're not going to see things, understand things. You're going to be in the dark. And the Bible teaches this, and he don't want anybody in the dark. He's not out to catch people in the dark. I know Paul said that he'll return as a thief in the night, but Paul also wrote that he said, we're not children of the night. We're not children of the darkness. There in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, go there and read that. He says his people can know. He said, we're children of light. And we can see and understand things. And if you're not seeing and understanding like you need to talk to Jesus. Now, if you caught up in Satan's kingdom, the Jesus of the kingdom of Babylon, you're talking to the wrong one. Because Satan has a Jesus too. He's just using the name. And Jesus said they'd use him. Matthew 24, he says, let no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. In other words, they'll come claiming Christ, but they're going to be deceivers. And they're going to be proclaiming not the Christ of the Bible, but the Christ of the New Babylon that has come back to power. That started coming in 2000 when the Twin Towers were taken down and New World Trade Center opened. And see, Daniel even talked about when the beast would show up, and he showed up in 2017, and came into Israel in 2018 and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem and started the Abraham Accord. And see, the Bible teaches all this. In Daniel in chapter 9, verse 25, he talked about when the beast would show up. And he called him in that chapter the Messiah, the Prince, that he'd show up when Israel was back in the land for 69 years. And that brought it to 2017, and that's when President Trump showed up. That's when he came to power, and he conquered them. And Israel has given him the crown of Jerusalem. They done that in 2023. And see, this is what we're looking at. This is all coming together. The tribulation started in 2018. So when you look at this, see, when God brought them into the world was in 19 and 24. And then when they were 24 years old, That brought it to 1948, and that's when they come back in the land. Then 70 years later brought it to 2018. And this is when they were deceived, and then the 7-year tribulation started then, and will end on March the 19th in 2026. And see, Jesus said here in Matthew 24 there, he said that this generation would not end till all these things be fulfilled. So this generation of Jews that are back now will end the generation. They will come to the end of the generation on May the 14th in 2026. So we can understand when Jesus is going to come. So he's going to come soon. And this is all coming together. You look in chapter 17 of Revelation, and you see the judgment of the whore is going on now. And Jesus is the one that's doing this. He's bringing it to judgment. The kingdom of Babylon, which is Satan's kingdom, is in darkness right now because of the Epstein and Maxwell thing here, the whore that the Bible talks about here. And this is what we see going on. And so we can understand when Jesus is coming. And he'll be coming. Jesus said that before this generation comes to an end, and it comes to the end on May the 14th in 2026. He said that by then all these things will be fulfilled. And so we can know he'll be coming between. See, this thing started falling apart when we come to September the 22nd. This is when the Jewish calendar said that 5785 ended and 5786 began. And it's 6-month time here. From September to December, or to April, I mean. And we're seeing a lot of things here. We've talked about quite a bit of it, and we don't want anybody to be in the dark. We want everybody to realize what's going on here and understand when Jesus is going to be coming. Even though we can't know the day or the hour, but we can know the time and the season, and that's what he's giving. He doesn't want anybody to be in the dark. That's why he's giving it in his book. And that's why that we're trying to help and try to warn people and pray that people will listen and begin to walk with Jesus and fellowship with him, and because he's coming soon, and you need to be getting ready. You don't need to be running away and be in the dark when he comes. Jesus said it'd be like it was in the day of Noah. They were eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So don't be in that. Learn here. Talk to Jesus, and he'll show you the scriptures, that he'll give you the real meaning of the scriptures, and you'll be able to see and understand. And we just want to be a help, and we're not out to hurt anybody. We just want to be a help. And so we hope that this will help you, and and you can talk to Jesus and walk with him and get ready for his coming, because he's coming soon. And it's going to be before Israel comes to May the 14th here in 2026. This will be the end of the generation. And Jesus said all things will be fulfilled. And so I hope you'll understand and talk to Jesus and walk with him in fellowship and look forward to his coming. So God bless you, and you have a great day.